Hello, everybody. I'm Max from InStat Sports, and today we have a very special guest for our InStat webinar. Pia Lilie, head coach and assistant coach of Brazil Women National Team. Hello, Pia. Hello, Lilie. How are you?
Hello, tudo bem?
Hello, tudo bem?
That's cool. And Pia and Lilie will discuss a very interesting topic today, coaching the Brazil national team, playing idea, analyzing versus coaching, and data versus emotion. And here with us is Jonathan, our regional director of Brazil and South America. And Jonathan will tell us a few words before Pia and Lilie. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello, Max. Now, I just wanted to thank Pia and Lilie for being here with us today. We are very proud of having you with us. I think it's a pleasure to work with you and to be connected with you, and we are very happy that you agree with this webinar, and we are here just to help you. So I'll pass the ball to you, and I think you wanted to tell us a little bit more about how do you work with our tools, and how do you work with the players, how do you analyze opponents and your own performance, and we are very interested in seeing how you do it, and we'll help you with all the things that will come on the line.
Okay.
Perfect.
So, Pia, now it's all yours, the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, I'm really happy to get the opportunity to be here with my assistant coach, and I would like to I will have a little bit of a chat of how we work with the Brazilian team, a little bit, just a glimpse of what we're doing and how video and InStat will help us quite a bit. But first of all, I have to talk about the team behind the team. Because when I came to Brazil, I decided to keep the most of the staff because I want continuity. So I thought that Brazil played quite well during the World Cup. I remember the game against France and so on. And to keep that, what they've been doing previously, and then just add 2 people. One of my best friends, and I've been working with Lilie for many years. And actually, she was my boss in Sweden. So I thought
I still is, but that's a secret.
Not anymore.
I didn't know that.
and then I also added a sports psychologist, Marina. So each of us, we have a certain topic and speciality. It's a fitness, it's a psychology, it's a technique, tactical stuff. And that has been so important for me, regardless where I've been. I've been in US, I've been in Sweden, and the coaching staff has made me look good. The players has made me look good. If I will be on my own, I'm useless. But I could be my very best when I work with people that are, especially now in Brazil, warm people. They are enthusiastic and they want to try to be on the same page. And I really want to emphasize that, how important that is. So now when I come to Brazil, we know we have technical players. So of course I have an idea of how to prepare for the next game. So as all of us do, most likely, we start to talk about the pre-game talk. And that is important because that tells us a little bit what we expect the players to do 2 times 45 minutes. And you can imagine the first pre-game talk is so much different from the last one we did against Canada, because we know the players better. Not only how to reach them, and it's about the communication. It's not only about the Portuguese, it's about body language and how to get the players to embrace the new idea. Because it is a little bit of a change to have, for Brazilian players, to have 2 people from Sweden with a different background. So it starts with the pre-game talk. And then we play the game. And that is also one thing I truly believe is important. You have an A plan, a B plan, sometimes a C plan as well. And people coming off the bench, we talk a lot about the game changer. So we play the game, and hopefully we adjust our plan, and people, they change and make some difference coming off the bench. Then we watch the game, and we will watch it, and we have a discussion with the staff, and you analyze the game, of course. Now you have specific moments, and this is what I want to walk you through. Specific moments where you want to emphasize what we did well. So we have taken out crosses, for instance. And if you look at that, the penetrating runs to get behind the back line or get into the box, the key passes. So you have so many things, but we have to make priorities. And usually we take a moment where we think we're pretty good, and we show them, and this comes to coaching. We have analyzed it. But in order to coach, we want to have the players a certain feeling. We're pretty good at this. We need to do it more. So we show them a clip where it is successful. And you will see when we play against Mexico, where we talked about a little about early crosses and so on. So we were going to show you the first figures, how we analyze the game.
Yes, and let us all also explain that we are not professional on InStat. We are beginners.
Correct.
Our teammate, Mr. Pombo, our analyze guy, he's the professional on InStat. So we are just beginners, but we will try to show you. And let's start to try to share the screen. Can you see my screen? Yes.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect.
So we have some different numbers here, Pia, and there are a lot of numbers. Why aren't you look at all the numbers?
Well, Pombo has to do that. I have to make some priorities. So, for instance, Lilie is taking care of the attacking third. So she concentrates on certain numbers, key passes, for instance, and we have figured out that around 10 plus key passes, where we have average of 11 crosses, for instance, and key passes. If you play against a good team, there are less. Play against a not so good team, we have a more chance to have some key passes. And when you talk about passes, we look around 400. It's not if we have 700, I don't know if that's better, but we need to get around 400. And why do I say that? Because we have a lot of 10 games, 11 games to look at. So it's different from who we're going to play, but we think that we have a chance to win the game if we around 400 players. And that is based on
400 players. That's interesting.
That's 400 passes. And that is based on our playing idea. It's not only counterattacks. Boom. It is about the key possession built up, because that is one of our strengths, we think. So that's we look at certain numbers, because it's impossible for me to look at everything. That is one of the key to be successful as a coach. You make the right priorities, and you have a good timing when you look at this or that.
So you say over 400 passes, and you talk about this number as well, over 80%. You talk about key passes, around 10 during the game, and you talk about crosses. What did you say about crosses? How many?
We talk about, because we have some good plays in the box, so you want to get sooner or later wide and get the ball into the box. And we around 13, 14, something like that. So aim for a certain number.
So let's see about the crosses. We will pick the game against Mexico. We had a double header against Mexico. And in Brazil, there is a lot of left-footed players, yeah? Or you don't agree with
Well,
me?
I do agree. I've never ever met a team with so many left-footed players, and you can imagine what's happening on the left side then.
Oh, and this is about InStat. What happened, Max?
This is not good.
This is not good. But let's try again, yeah?
It's the kind of thing that just happen when you're live.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are watching for this specific situation with crosses. We'll look at over and over again, back and forth, back and forth.
E se prepara para Tóquio. Vem aí Jogos Olímpicos.
And if you look, it's the beginning of the game. It comes from the left side. That's the first one. And here's the second one. We have just pushed crosses. Beatriz out, Tamires, and on the left-footed players. And now we can talk about runs in the box as well, which we hope will be a strength of ours. Beatriz, 1-1. And here is in the 9th, 10th minute. Watch. Runs in the box. Christiane, 1-0. So, as I said, we have been watching this over and over again. Now that is analyze the game, analyze a certain situation. However, for us, it's so important coaching when you have a communication with the players. So we use these add pictures. And if you look at very often when the player look at the clip, they look at the ball carrier or they look at themselves. So we would like to point a finger and try to make them look at certain part of it. So Lilie, if you can add a picture, let's see how that goes.
Yes, I will. I think my screen is, yeah, there we have it. So we say analyze is one thing, and this is what we really like about InStat, this tool, add picture, because here you can do some pretty nice thing that we like anyway. For example, this one, because when the players see the clip, it's maybe for the first time.
It may be for the first time, and you look at yourself. And that's a good start.
Yeah.
But if we have, based to our playing idea, runs into the box, change speed, and then we add, of course, our physical part like Capelli and Fabi, how important it is actually to be able to change speed. By the way, I think that is one of the difference between men and women. Change speed. Many times, more often in the men's game than in the women's game, and also the distance. So we try to put figures and data and show this kind of situation. This is what we want you to look at based on our playing idea. So using that, you can do so many things.
Yeah. With all this, if you want to describe the space and whatever it is, but this is a tool that we really like because it helps the player to see certain things, not only, of course, watch the one who has the ball, so to speak. And now I'm drawing very much here.
Just right click it and it would end.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like that. So this is a cool part.
Go back though. So if that is only one specific situation, you can imagine if you make the right priorities, because we played against a team and now we have the second game, and you have to prepare them. It's a little bit about analyze. It's a little bit about the emotions. A good example is the first game we played against Netherlands in March. Netherlands, they play the World Cup final against US. So there is expectations. Everybody's so excited about that. And we tied the game. Now, of course, there are good things and bad things happening in that game. And then you're going to play France. Brazil, they lost against France in the World Cup. So how do you deal with that? Then you just, for us, it's important to pick the right moments, the right specific moments. And sometimes you show like crosses, okay? You show for everybody. And then you have only 2 players because you really want them to be prepared for a fast play against France, or we can penetrate on the right side, and you make it individual, or you put them in pairs. And that's why you just go in InStat and you pick up the clip you want to see. So here is another, when you look at data, because it could be dangerous, I think, if you only look at data. This is a good game, this is a bad game. You need a lot of knowledge about football, but also your play idea. What are you really expecting? Remember the pre-game talk, so to speak. So here is a situation against France where we talk about key passes. So we have 9 key passes, and according to the data, only 2 of them are fairly successful. Now you want to have the key pass. We talked about it. We have some drills and so on. And here you see the key passes. Well, Christiane, offside. And it's small, yeah, you can look at her body language as well. And here's another one. It's successful, but we couldn't keep the ball in the box. Here comes the third one. Great ball, however, offside. And watch a little bit, on a little bit. So it's so close. Here's another one, almost successful. Tile up in the air. So this is a moment we talked about, the key pass and how to improve that. And here's one. Play it. Well, she doesn't. It's offside. And who do you think it is? Christiane. And here's another one. Well, she's there again. It's almost. So here you have a bad number. And however, it's you can look at it as a good try. And I think this is the last one with Duda, and she's onside. And watch what's happening. Onside. There you go. So you have a figure 9. You have a negative figure because only 2 of them are successful. But coaching now is, of course, for us, we like the runs. So we rather have Christiane, because it's not the Olympics today, but trying and encourage her, even though she made a mistake. But I think we could actually learn from the mistake and coach from that standpoint. So this is a little bit about when you coach a very emotional team. We think when it comes to Brazilian team, you need to look at the strength of the emotions, but they can't be carried away. So they lose all the tactics or the game plan. You always have to stick with the game plan. And it's also great when you have players stick with the game plan. They have a lot of good situation to think about, and we have shown them. They gain some confidence, and all of a sudden they will surprise us by doing totally different and be successful. That's pretty much the idea we have. But it starts with the pre-game talk and then follow up with feedback. And for the most part, finding a positive video clip to show them, we rather do that instead of, oh, this is not good enough. We look at when it's successful, like Christiana, she was onside this time. We give her credit for her finishing, for her runs in the box, and tell her, well, you have to do it more often. And in order to do that, you need to be more fit. And so on and so on. And that is why we think it's data one thing, and emotions is you have to combine them. And if you do that in a great way, you actually could be successful with the team, so to speak.
And yeah, do you think that you worked for USA, Sweden? Do you think that it's big difference nowadays? For example, this balance between emotional and data between the Brazilian players and American players, for example. Do you think the Brazilians are more emotional? The kind of motivation is different, for example?
Well, I can only compare what I have been. So I've been in US, Sweden, and in Brazil right now. And one thing, I try to bring how to put it, to do your very best from US, the attitude, just go for it. I wouldn't say that 2008 winning the Olympics, the most tactical players, the most technical players, but they have the grit. They can't even, we're going to win. And they bring, that's contagious to bring that. I want to bring that to Brazil. And in order to have that, you need the psychologist, you need the fitness coach as well. Now, coming to Sweden, we play the final 2016 Olympics against Germany. And I think they are a lot of knowledge. They know how to play, and they are very loyal to the game plan, and they know how to organize. So a specific thing when it comes to defending, we try to bring the Swedish defending organization to work for each other, to be a team, to bring that to Brazil. So if we have the grit, if we have the organization, now you use the Brazilian technique and emotions. So it's and in order to do that, I can use the data. I can look for the data that suits us. That's coaching. So I show them. And at the same time, the coaching staff is look at the data. Oh, I didn't recognize that, or something that is a little bit unusual. And sometimes it's you find the good data for based on our playing style, so to speak.
Great. And with this, your knowledge that we are seeing this growth of the women football in Brazil, like nowadays we have all this experience that you are bringing to us, and we have these fantastic results. And in Brazil, we are very grateful, And we have some questions here in YouTube, Pia. For example, Jonas Urias, he's asking, for example, during a short competition like Olympics, which stats you consider priorities to analyze and develop?
Well, it's a little tricky one because you have only 2 days in between. So what I have done with the 3 times been in the final is the practice in between. It's very little. You have to prepare for going all the way to the final. So you push the players. It's a little bit about how much could you actually train so they are fit enough to play so many games in a short amount of time. And it depends on the most important thing actually is that they are healthy and they have the fitness ability. Then I think it depends on what kind of team you have. It depends on the opponents. I'm very proud of the way we did it with the Swedish team, because if you recall, the first game we won, and then we lost against Brazil 5-1. It was a disaster. Everybody was happy in Rio, except for us. Then we changed. So if it's a balance between, well, we do a little bit more, we keep the aim or what playing style. We didn't. We changed totally, and we had low pressure and so on, and we would defend like a Swedish team. So you have to be able to actually analyze, and you can't do everything. You have to really make the priorities.
Okay, great. I asked people in YouTube to focus on the main idea for a webinar, but some people, for example, Safa from Turkey, he asked, for example, Pia, have you ever received an offer from men's football team? He said that you are much better than most of the successful manager men in Turkey nowadays, for example.
No, I know I haven't.
Really?
I got the offer from Brazilian national team. Yes.
Great. You're very happy with that. But really never received an offer for a men's team, because the experience that you are bringing to us, the knowledge is very, very deep, very interesting. We talk, with analysts and coaches, men coaches from the whole world. And what you're bringing is really like the same level or even above. It's really great. Jonathan, you have some question for Pia?
Yeah, like I'll like to ask her, Pia and Lily, like how did you find? Because I think the two teams that you have prior your Brazil experience now, like both US and Sweden, those are teams that I think are physically not better, but I think that they are athletes. Yeah, like girls in Sweden are a little bit more taller than girls in Brazil, and the soccer, yeah, in US is very physical. It's not as technical as in Brazil. How do you adapt your style when you have teams that are like physically so different? And how do you approach this from the data and video point?
Well, I would say it's so important, regardless which team you stand in front of. Like you have to, in order to reach the players and get the message across, I really need to listen and see what do I have in front of me. Lilie was my boss when I coached the U15 and U16 girls national team, and of course that is very different. This same kind of game. You have attacking, defending, and so on. But how to approach a player? How do we believe that she can improve? And when it comes to, it's great with the Brazilian, because I've seen Brazilian so many times, even coaching against a Brazilian. And it's
it's still the same players, yeah.
It's still the same players. But the technique, I'm impressed of that. I wish that if it had a little bit of a fitness level and raise the fitness levels, so using the technique more often and get closer to the goal to penetrate. And I think they have embraced two Swedish coaches and they want to learn. It would be so much more difficult if they said, "Who are you?" Well, we, the Brazilian team, we usually play this kind of football, but they don't.
Joga bonito. Yeah.
They are really open-minded.
Yeah. So you try to approach her the girls just to push them a little bit forward in the physical side, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, okay. Makes
And
sense.
actually, we are looking at one more number when it comes to the Brazilian team, and it's the dribbling. Yeah, so and it's real. Okay, let's see. Because now we are handling Brazil, and we just love when we see Marta dribbling, or Debinha dribbling, or whoever it is. Because when we were coaching Sweden, this was something that we were really afraid of. Whoa, don't let Marta get the speed up, or Debinha get the speed up and start dribbling 1 versus 1, or 1 versus 2 or 3, actually. So, but we think our number here is a little bit low, and then we ask ourselves, is it about the self-confidence that they don't dribble enough, or is it about the endurance or fitness, or is it about that we have talked a lot about defense now, because we're trying to organize a little bit. So that's very interesting when it comes to playing and different teams and so on.
Yeah,
So,
how coaches, managers affect the numbers on the teams. Yeah, because I think before you came to Brazil, they play a little bit more loose in the defense. Yeah, and now they are being more organized, more strict in the defense side, and this is affecting also a little bit on the offensive side statistics, because maybe the girls are not out of position to make a dribble in the wing, yeah, that it was in the past. Yeah, okay.
That is a balance, of course, because we're not going to play the Olympics tomorrow, but we are aware of we need to change this. We need to keep the organization defensively, but we feel that the players, they want to do what we're telling them to do, and sometimes we want them to surprise us and use the strength, like all of a sudden they start to dribble. So that is, as Lilie said, it depends on what it is. So if you look at all the specific coaches we have, like a sports psychologist, like the fitness coach and us, if we were together, if we are on the same page, maybe we will see Beatrice, she's gonna dribble, Debinha gonna dribble a little bit more and be successful, because that's the key. So I have an example where you have a player, instead of playing the ball, she starts to dribble, but she's not successful. I would not tell her, why you shouldn't do this. I would tell her, that's interesting, the fact that you start to dribble. She surprised me. Now, the next time you have to do it better. I'm not asking her to change the decision, but as long as she's good at dribbling, well, you have to do better. And then it's up to her when she comes to the same situation. So it's small pieces, depending who it is, and starting lineup or coming off the bench, or that's why I usually say, coaching a team alone, useless. But that's why I have such a good staff members, and they are also buying my idea how we're going to play and the approach to the players.
Yeah, makes sense. And do you, for example, as following the example, for example, when Christina makes a dribble that surprised you, do you, like, when you see this decision, then you review with her, like watching the video, let's say, and ask why she did this, not in the bad, like what you did, and just asking the questions, why you did it, and did you saw the other player that was running in your left, maybe you could have a pass instead of a dribble, a more easy, or it's something that you do personally with each player, or it's something that you do more collective analysis and in coaching?
It depends who it is. So sometimes it's just one player and you just show the video. What do you see? And she will explain instead of me telling how it is. We have a playing idea, and they should be loyal to that. And now they try to do something exceptional, which I like. We like that a lot. Sometimes it's 2 players, sometimes it's the whole team. It all depends what kind of situation, and if they could embrace. That's a tricky part.
Also what you're trying to accomplish, with the talk. So
Exactly.
if you want something that is team based, maybe you will bring the team together. Something is like more position based, maybe you will bring a couple of girls together only. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, makes sense.
Pia, we have some questions here, actually many questions. For example, Davi from Minas, Brasilia, he's asking, for example, he's saying that InStat is a powerful tool for analysis, but what do you think is the most important info you need that can't be seen in numbers,
That is when, let's say, key passes, like when you look at how big of a chance was it, counterattack, how big of a chance was it 50-50 whether you play it or not, and you have to go through all the counterattacks and to evaluate and then you put the situations behind the numbers, pretty much.
Contextualizing the data, putting a context around the data, just not the cold numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So just moving into the from data to information to something that you can act on.
Yes.
Okay.
And personally, I think it's now I'm not an expert, and I will be in 2-3 years or something like that. But I think the hardest part is defending. How to? We have found a couple of numbers when it comes to the attack, but defending, where we're looking for, and we're just beginners, so to speak. So we sooner or later we found out what kind of numbers are important for us, the Brazilian team.
Pia and Lily, Eduardo from Grêmio women team, he asked, based on data and on your experience, how do you see nowadays the Campeonato Brasileiro Série A? How is the most important championship in Brazil nowadays compared to the other championships in the world? It's competitive nowadays. How do you see it based on your experience and on the data that you have nowadays through InStat, for example?
I don't have enough experience to say I'm 100% sure this is how it is, but I've seen a couple of games. So we have players in US, we have players in France, Germany, and Spain, and so on. And watching the games, there is one specific strength I really like, and that is give and go. Find a situation going forward, 1v1, technical stuff, receiving the ball and turn and so on, and be a little bit tricky. And also in the air, there are some really good players in the air, and you can tell when in the box, for instance. The weakness, though, I think it's the speed of play. It's not as fast as in Germany and France and the games I've seen. And I think if then it comes back to the fitness level and expectations. And I think if I would love to see speed of play, and I think for the women's game in general, but specifically in Brazil, if you could raise that level, we could beat any team in the world.
Great. Talking about fitness, we have here Carla Chaves. She asking about what physical variables do you analyze after the games? I think it's what kind of interaction do you have with your fitness coach after the games of Brazil?
Well, we get all kinds of figures. We have GPS. So Capelli is an expert on that. And, it's not only during the game, it's before the game. How are you prepared? And you can imagine in the Olympics, you have only 2 days, and see how they're capable to recover for 2 days. So so many figures. I would just give you one example. If there is one player that is doing all these repeated sprints, we have a player like Ludmila. She's very fast. So if we have a center back or somebody else that is not changing speed as much, and we want her to change speed a little bit more, like say outside back or whatever, then we could compare and talk to the players. Here is your number. Do you think you can raise it a little bit? And have you look at InStat, you have 2 crosses, but you need change speed as well. So you use a little bit of a both in order to coach. And then of course there's a discussion with Capelli about what do you think? How many minutes could she play, or is it something we can do more on the right side, depending on the fitness level, pretty much. So small things. It's a little bit of a conversation, and he's supposed to give us something. Wow, this is different. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's different. And then we start to talk about. So you need a lot of figures in order to say this is different when you played against this team or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Lavanya, she's asking about the COVID-19, how it is affecting your plans for the seleção for the next stages.
Hugely, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no Olympics, so this completely change of plans. Yeah.
The last we have a meeting pretty much once a week or something like with the staff. And the last meeting we just brought it up. Capelli and Fabi talked about pre-season, and everybody knows everybody's pretty good at pre-season, how I'm gonna deal with that. And now everything we've done in order to go to the Olympics, we have to change it. And it's a little bit tricky because right now we don't know when they're going to play in the league in Brazil, for instance. And we have players all over the world. So that will be, I think that's one of important thing to make sure whenever we start again, how much have they been training? How many games have they had? And just not only throw them in. She's a good player. She's even better. And then just play. You have to prepare for success. And that is to look back and see what they've been doing. It will be hard. And I need every help I can get from the coaching staff to make the right decision.
And for example, now during this pause, for example, the players are not playing, of course. So how do you have some kind of talks with these players sometimes to check how their fitness condition, how is their mental condition?
Yes, we follow up. It actually started after our 3 games against Netherlands, France, and Canada. So we said, how is the players? So we had a video call with all of them, and they were all over the place. And then we had another meeting, 4 players at the time, and we talked about a certain specific thing in the game, and they brought out some video clips and talked about it. So we didn't feed them the video clips. We did the other way around. So Marta had 2 clips. This is what she thinks, and so on. And that's how we try to feel connected with the players. It is the same thing with coaches. We try to find the emotions that we are a team. And it won't come easy, but doing that with the video conference is one way to do it.
Got it. Jonathan, something else?
No, I was thinking if you, for example, give players some matches to see, like, for example, you like, I don't know, like you said, the Sweden style defending, more compact, more organized. Do you ask your players, for example, send some clips of those other teams that you like to try to pre-training, do some drills about them? Yeah.
We have the playing idea. At some point, we send it out. This will be the topic. So let's say crosses. What do you need in order to be successful in crosses or whatever? So we always everything is based on our playing idea, and we pick a little bit here and there in order to put everything together sooner or later. And as you know, if you play in the club and you have a certain playing style, you have a certain coach and certain teammates, and in order to be prepared, they can do a couple of things. To look at the game they play, the last national team game or whatever, and there are different things you actually could do, and we've done a little bit of that. I think that will be very important whenever we're going to play the next game, to prepare them as much as possible by using, sending in clips and using the internet.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Pia and Lilie, thanks a lot for your participation in this webinar. We are very happy to work with you, to have you with us. Thanks for answering the questions. We actually had 100 questions here, but the time is limited. So thank you a lot. Okay, we are very proud of this conversation. We are very proud to have you coaching the Brazil national team. Okay, and Jonathan, thank you a lot too. And your final words, maybe?
No, yeah, like just to finalize, I think it's been a pleasure, and we all of us, I learned a lot from you, Pia and Lilie. I think we from InStat are very happy to work with you, and we'll keep trying to make you Olympic, not to make you, to help our 1%, 0.5% part of being the Olympic gold medal.
Obrigada.
Obrigada.
Muito obrigado, Pia.
Muito obrigado.